Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri here. A beautiful sunny day. It is, I don't even know what day it is, Tuesday, I think. I hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great start to your week. And hopefully, amid this current situation, you're recognizing that this is a phenomenal time to do what you do. Okay? This is a big opportunity, not to capitalize on people. It's an amazing opportunity to serve people and to grow your business. And it's an amazing opportunity for you to look inwards and look at your business and ask yourself, man, are there a few things I need to clean up here? Are there a few things I need to be doing a little bit differently or better? Now is the opportunity more than ever before. This situation is forcing businesses to put on their big boy pants and really step it up, because if they don't, they're out of business, right? And to be honest with you, maybe they should be out of business, because I'll give you a great example. So when I lived in a small town called Port Perry outside of Toronto, we lived there for 5 years. We started our family out there because we didn't want to stay in Toronto at the time. So 9,000 people, and really kind of like a historic downtown strip, really nice. And then I think a year or so after we moved there, they built a Walmart, right? So a Walmart, not too far away, maybe a kilometer away from the downtown area. And a lot of businesses started to complain, like, Walmart's come in, it's not fair. And because of that, many of those small businesses went out of business. And listen, I want to be as compassionate as the next person, but the reality is that if Walmart put you out of business, that's your fault. It's 100% your fault, because what you were offering people was no longer valuable. They're like, I'll just get it at Walmart for less price. So it's a great example, and like business owners or people in general complain about, here comes Starbucks, they're putting out these local cafes. Guess what? They don't have Starbucks in Australia. I mean, they've got a few, but they don't even want it down there because all the local cafes are so much better. So the whole idea of like Amazon killing bookstores, or Walmart killing small businesses, great. They should kill those businesses, because those businesses suck to begin with. And I know this comes across really really harsh, but guys, the marketplace doesn't give a shit about your business. And I apologize for the language here, but you have to understand this. The marketplace does not care about what it is you're doing if what it is you're doing becomes irrelevant by another player doing something better. And what this current COVID-19 situation is reminding us of is that if you do not become more relevant, you will become irrelevant. If you are fighting the current, trying to make sure that your brick and mortar survives right now, and you are resistant to working online, you will go out of business, most likely. I use the analogy, it's like sitting on a lounger on the beach during a Category 5 hurricane, and you're like, you know what, it's going to blow over. It's going to blow over. And that hurricane just sits there for weeks on end. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you have to be realistic about what's going on right now, guys. Like, this situation is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And let's just even say it went away by the end of next week. Are people going to be jumping out of their houses, like right back into social interactions? Probably not. There's still going to be apprehension. Are they going to be spending their money as frivolously or as freely as before? Probably not, because they might think, well, what if this happens again? So it's a big wake-up call for individuals and businesses right now. And I want you to really understand, like, the only option you have is to take action. You cannot sit idle right now, because if you do, you're going to get passed by everyone else who is doing stuff. So I'll give you another example. When I was in Greece 2 years ago, we did a day on the water, went out to Mykonos and with some friends, and it was really nice. And we're in the Aegean Sea, a little bit choppy, but we stopped at this little island for lunch. It was really, really nice. But it was freezing cold. Like, I'm talking, the water was like, there should have been icebergs floating in the water. And I thought to myself, well, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be back here is. So why don't I just jump in the water so that I've had the experience of swimming in the Aegean Sea? So I remember I jumped out of the boat, and I almost, like, my heart almost stopped. Like, it was like full on Iceman, like Wim Hof type of stuff, right? And I was like, oh my God, that was cold. And then immediately what happened was my body started getting pulled away from the current. And so I had to work so hard. I was swimming like a friggin' duck just to stay afloat. I wasn't swimming forward. I was swimming just to stay relevant, just to stay stationary. And that's what we're all facing right now, is you have to work harder to stay status quo, to maintain the status quo. And if you don't, your business is going to shrink down and shrivel away. I don't want that to happen, okay? So I want you to really think about, am I asking the wrong questions or the right questions in my business? And I want to give you an example of a wrong question. 2 wrong questions. This actually, I have a daily sales huddle with my team, so this came up this morning. So one of the questions was from a phone conversation recently, and the prospect was talking about, well, you know, you guys recommend schedule once, but I'm using Calendly. I can't, I'm getting discombobulated there. So I told our team member, I said, listen, if you're worrying about $10 problems, like which scheduling platform to use, you're asking the wrong questions, because you're focused on a $10 problem. What you want to be focused on is a $10,000 problem or a $1 million problem, which is, how do I pivot my business as quickly as possible to serve more people and make more money, right? The details are insignificant. Whether you use Calendly, Acuity, Schedule Once, ClickFunnels, Kajabi, YouTube, Vimeo, Wistia, it doesn't matter. Those are ridiculous questions. And if you ask those types of questions, I need to be very honest with you. Small questions lead to small results. And small questions are asked by people who think small. And if you think small, you're going to stay small. And right now, stay small means you go out of business. Okay? So please think about, what is the question I'm asking? And is it the right question to be asking? The second question was from someone who was very, very detail oriented, and they wanted to know metrics for everything, right? How much should I pay for cost per click? How many conversions should I like? I'm like, your business is very different, but typically here's what we would recommend at a high level. And so they were very fixated on cost per click. And when I hear someone fixate on cost per click, that tells me they don't know what they're doing. So if you're running Facebook ads and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting 50-cent clicks or 5-cent clicks, you don't know what you're doing. I had a conversation with a potential Facebook ad coach who was going to maybe work with us like a year ago. And I remember asking him, because on the surface, things look good. He kind of seemed to know what he was doing. And then I asked him, like, just, what are some of the results you've been able to get for your clients? And the first one he mentioned, and remember, if the first person you go to is this becomes an issue. The first client he said he got great results for was, well, we've been getting them really cheap clicks. And right away, I'm like, that's a big X. And then the second question I asked him was, how much would you charge to work with us if we were to do this kind of stuff? And he said about $400 a month. And I told him, I'm like, good to know. I don't think this is going to work out, because his value is like insignificant compared to what I was expecting, right? Someone who really is amazing at what they do, they're going to charge more than $400 a month. So just a little caveat here. If you outsource your Facebook marketing, which I strongly discourage you to do until a certain point, I'll give you an example of this in a second, and someone's charging you $400 a month, $500 a month to run your ads, you better run the other way. You better run the other way, because I promise you, they're not good at what they do. And people who ask questions like, how much should I be spending cost per click, is the wrong question to ask, because the only question that matters, at least initially, is what's the return on investment. And then as the business matures, return on investment actually becomes less relevant, because you can just pay for impressions almost, because you know your funnel so well that the lifetime value takes care of itself. That's more down the road. But initially, you have to be thinking like, I don't care what cost per click. Our cost per click in some cases is $12. I don't care, because of those people who click, we know that our ROI is what it is. We have not had a single week in 3.5 years of negative ROI running Facebook ads. And do you think I care what the cost per click is? No, I care what the cost per acquisition is and what our cost per, or our value per client is. But again, if you're someone who doesn't know what to know, then you're asking the wrong questions. And if you're asking the wrong questions, you're moving in the wrong direction, okay? One of our clients, Ryan and Richard, They just did $692,000 in March. They did $358,000 a month before in February. So they almost doubled their business in 1 month amidst COVID, helping people with Hashimoto's, okay? And just now, they asked me if I can make an introduction to our media buyer, so the guy who runs all of our Facebook traffic. At almost $700,000 a month, only now are they asking me this. Okay, but yet we have some people that have never acquired a single client running Facebook ads, and they're like, I just want to outsource it right away. And this is why most businesses fail, because they're not willing to learn the fundamentals. They're not willing to learn the skill sets that are necessary to arguably master the most important piece of your business, which is sales and marketing. If you try to outsource that, guess what? No one else is going to care about your business as much as you do. And I agree, like at some point, there are other things that you can focus on other than managing your ads, right? But you have to learn the fundamentals at a very fundamental level from day one, because if you don't, you're giving your future to someone else. So this individual who is super detail oriented was, I'm just going to close my window here for a second. Dog barking in the background. So this individual who was asking these very detail-oriented questions about cost per click, et cetera, he was asking these questions because I can't remember if he had a marketer on his team. Either the marketer had said ask these questions, or he was asking these questions, either way. And so the question is, well, if you have a marketing expert on your team, why are we even speaking? Why did you book this call if you have a marketing expert on your team? My guess is that two things are happening. Number one, he doesn't even know you're having this call. Or number two, he does. And in either scenario, you're not getting the results that you want. Because if he was really good at what he did, you would not have booked this call. Does that make sense? So why are we speaking? And so what I'm getting at here is that you have to be very careful. Again, in this person's case, like I don't know the full stories, but you have to be very careful about who you take advice from, who you're leaning into for opinions from, right? If you're like, well, my husband doesn't approve of this. Well, has your husband built the business that you want to build? No, he works in a bank. Oh, well, you should definitely listen to him because he obviously has the most educated opinion here, right? So just be very careful of who you listen to, because they're going to get the wrong questions into your head if those wrong questions are not already there to begin with. All right, guys? Again, like if I had a coin, I would show you, but there's two sides to the coin right now. One side is people are out of money, they don't have jobs, the world's coming to an end. What's the point of doing anything? And that's one way of living life for sure. Other side of the coin is thank you for this amazing reminder of my duty and obligation to step up and serve people. For my duty and obligation to make sure my business is as relevant as possible, so I don't become irrelevant like a local mom and pop store that does when Walmart comes to town. Thank you for this opportunity to look inwards and work on myself, to work on my mindset, to really get out of my own way, because now more than ever people need me, including my family, my clients or my patients, and my community, right? And so it's two sides of the coin to look at, guys. And in either situation, you're right. If you don't believe you can work online, you're right. If you do believe you can work online and you already have been, you're right as well. If you don't believe that people have money to spend with you, you're 100% right. But if you believe that there's more money out there and more people looking for help now because there are, then you're right as well. And you could be doing $692,000 a month. Or you could be making nothing, or anywhere in between. Okay? So I know this is kind of like a hard-hitting, no BS type of session here, but I hope it really gets you thinking. And if you're ready to move forward, and here's the reality, like if your business is not where you want it to be, it's not going to get any better right now unless you have a good strategy and the right guidance. It's as simple as that, right? And if you've been watching these videos or listening to this podcast and you've been waiting around, well, it's up to you. We can probably help you. If you're a complete beginner, that's off the table. Probably not. But if you're someone who has an existing practice or an existing business, you're doing about 5K a month in revenue, and you have an existing email list of about 500 people, we can probably help you save your business within the next 30 days and help you really grow in a very dramatic fashion afterwards. If that's you, I'll put a link below in the comments, or go to healthpreneurgroup.com/RAC and book in a call to speak with us, because time is of the essence, right? And I'm not here to pressure you, because quite honestly, it's your business. It's not me to tell you what to do. Our business is doing great. Our clients are doing great, and we'd love to help you as well, right? But you have to step up to the plate. So hopefully this makes sense. Hope you have an amazing day. And remember, focus on whichever side of the coin is going to move you in the right direction. See you soon.